again, as I said at the beginning of the show, every single time I talk about Carson Wentz, I feel like I'm so fearful that the Colts, or not the Colts, but the Eagles or the Colts or the Bears, or some kind of trade is going to happen with Carson Wentz. Every single time I talk about him, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen as soon as I end up finishing the show, and then basically everything that I said talking about the show just becomes irrelevant information. But it's been 2 weeks since the news broke that Carson Wentz is going to be traded very, very soon. So it's like, I think I'm probably safe now. to let out some of the thoughts that I've had about that situation in Philadelphia over the past 2 weeks. And of course, the reports are that the Colts and the Bears are the two teams that are the most interested in Carson Wentz. And again, the Eagles are looking for a Matthew Stafford-esque package, so that's close to 2 to 3 first-round picks and a quarterback. And I just can't help thinking that, the Colts are looking for a quarterback. The Bears have one, but they're really wanting to move on from him. I just can't help thinking to myself that, man, it would be a gigantic mistake for the Colts to trade for Carson Wentz in this point in time for a couple of reasons. First reason is that you have no idea the amount of dominoes and pieces that are going to fall with the amount of quarterbacks that could potentially be drafted in the first 10 picks of the NFL draft in April. No clue how many dominoes can fall. You don't know what type of quarterback is going to pop up where. You don't know if Dak is going to re-sign with Dallas, because I think Dak Prescott would be a great quarterback for Indianapolis. They have the cap space to pay him. You don't know who's going to be available at what time. So I think to try and get your quarterback now in somebody like Carson Wentz, who you have acknowledged is going to be a bit of a project. You're going to have to rebuild Carson Wentz from the ground up. You're going to have to take a cap hit eventually. Look, the Eagles are going to take the cap hit initially, but then that cap space falls on you. And look, the Colts are doing really well with their cap situation. I think they have like the third most cap space in the NFL. That is all going to shrink away with the acquisition of Carson Wentz. It's not going to, manifest itself this season, but the next season for sure. You really don't want to, in my mind, it would be a tremendous mistake to make that trade away. So not only are you trading away picks, and you're trading away another player for a quarterback that's going to hurt you massively financially within the next year or so, and you have no idea if he's going to be able to become the player that he was during his MVP caliber season. When you put it like that, it all seems really kind of stupid. Like, that would be a tremendous mistake by a team like the Indianapolis Colts to trade for Carson Wentz. And personally, I don't see why they would even entertain the idea. I understand you're in need of a quarterback. You do have options, and you don't even know the options that are going to be manifesting over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. Free agency starts in a little bit. No, it does start in almost exactly a month. It's the 18th of February today. Probably even a little bit less than that. To put in a trade for Carson Wentz now, like the rumors are suggesting, would be a massive mistake by Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts. And I know I'm really down on Wentz, and I know that I don't like him as a player, and this is me just calling out my bias, like, straight up and transparently. But even without it, like, it makes no sense. You're shrinking your cap for a player that you don't know is going to work out. You're trading away picks to get him. And you're going to be wasting the prime of a very young and successful Indianapolis Colts team, a team that almost beat the Buffalo Bills in the opening round of the playoffs this year. This is a good young Indianapolis team, and I do not know why in any world you would trade for a quarterback that has confidence issues. He's emotionally immature currently. He, is expensive, and you would have to trade a lot to get him, and you would have to build him from the ground up. It makes absolutely no sense. I would love for somebody to come to me with an argument as to why the Colts would want Carson Wentz. And before you tell me that, hey, it's the Frank Reich Carson Wentz connection, look, that means jack to me for the reasons that I just laid out. I don't care if Frank Reich is the mastermind and he somehow turns around Carson Wentz. That not only is an absolute long shot of actually happening, but you would still give up so much to get him and sacrifice so much of the good standing that you have currently organizationally in comparison to the rest of the league. You have good young talent, you have cap space, you have exciting players, and really all you need is that quarterback, that right quarterback, may not be the best quarterback in the league, but that right quarterback may appear out of nowhere with the domino effect that happens in the NFL draft or over the course of the free agency over the next couple of months. The Colts have options, and I think it would be a tremendous mistake for them to go anywhere near Carson Wentz with a 10-foot pole. And again, I recognize I don't like Carson Wentz. I'm unbiased in this take, but realistically speaking, I don't like the game that Carson Wentz has portrayed. I don't like his attitude. I would not want him as my quarterback. I understand that the Philadelphia Eagles want to trade him, but they're asking too much. So somebody's going to have to take it, somewhere. Somebody's going to have to sacrifice somewhere. Either Philadelphia is going to have to sacrifice and just take the cap hit and keep him on the team, or they're going to have to have a lesser haul for Carson Wentz than something that they're asking for. It's kind of funny because again, the Jared Goff Matthew Stafford trade is already having effects on the market. Because is Carson Wentz worth a Matthew Stafford-esque trade? I would argue that he's not, and still that's what the Philadelphia Eagles are asking for. Again, horrible mistake. It would be a monumental mistake in my mind, in my opinion, if the Colts end up trading for Carson Wentz and sacrificing not only their cap room, but sacrificing first-round picks, sacrificing time to try and build up Carson Wentz when we don't know for sure, and the odds are not in his favor that he can ever return to being a MVP caliber quarterback. So I'm very interested to see what you all have to say about this. I'm interested for those of you who may think that it's a good idea for the Colts or the Bears. The Bears again are another part in this because there is a connection there. I want to hear some arguments for Carson Wentz going there, but again, I'm just curious to know what you all think as well. So that's the end of the show. Again, hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say. Now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.